yet. But this room would be covered if I wasn't so lazy sometimes. So my first year, I was just, I was a laptop DJ. I didn't play anywhere, I didn't tell anyone. But it was until I moved out here, I started going to school at Washington, and I bought like a little $300 controller. And that's how I got started, is when I moved out here. I think what I was going for, it definitely helped. I did like my own little thing where I did like an associate's degree in applied science. So I took like self-management for the working artists, which helped. And then I was taking like production classes, and they really just taught us Pro Tools and Reason. And then I was taking keyboard classes and sound reinforcement. And a lot of it, I think the most important thing that it taught me was like, it definitely helped me get started, and like it felt good, but I didn't keep up with anything that I went to school for really. So I had that controller for a while, that $300 one, and then I upgraded to like this Newmark NS6, which was like, at the time it was $1,400, but they did this like crazy President's Day sale. It was down to 40% off. And so I took out a student loan for like $2,000, and I bought that. I bought some speakers. I played my friend's party. That was my first time ever playing in front of people. So yeah, I guess it's because I was always skateboarding before. So growing up, I was musically taught. I used to like play drums for my church. My mom had me on like violin. We just always had instruments around the house, trumpets, bongos. We just were always dicking around with stuff. But
so you had a musical background before?
A little bit, yeah, definitely like playing stuff. I had a music. I wasn't like really listening to a ton of music growing up. It was kind of whatever my friends were. So I got really into skateboarding in middle school, and around that time my friends were like listening to Iron Maiden and Dio and just like a lot of older rock. And then my other friends that I would skateboard with were like into hip hop, and some of them were like emo skateboarders. So I was just like always listening to whatever was around. Not too much. They didn't really play too much of a part. It wasn't until I was...
Like, were you able to draw from all those different influences? If you...
The hip-hop side, yes. The rock side, not so much. I kind of developed more of a taste once I moved out here and, like, discovered, like, the type of house music that Detroit was doing, and, like, hearing a lot of, like, this older, like, funk and disco. That really just kind of caught a side of me that I hadn't really experienced before, and that's like really what I started just like dancing to and not giving a shit about anything. Yeah. It's actually really funny. So when I first got into electronic music, it was like right when I first started really partying right after high school. This dude, we called him Broomy, and introduced me, and he was like showing me music, and he's like, all right, this is the good shit. And he, like, I remember like the first electronic song I ever heard was that I knew was like electronic music. It was The Reward is Cheese by Deadmau5, and he was showing me like Deadmau5 and these dudes like Hatiris and Frankie Bones, like all this different shit. But he's like, you don't listen to trance, you don't go to trance shows. He's like, you stay away from this is the cool shit. It's like, this is the lame shit. And so I never actually got to see or like really hear like a trance set before. And then out here is when I like really started hearing techno, which is insane, like blows my mind. I don't know as much about it, definitely more on the house side, but techno is, yeah, that's what I've saw a lot of in Detroit. This one right here is like something I've been playing all the time. So this is actually one of my all-time favorite records I own. And you can see it was only $1 in Detroit. Tom Brown is just, I mean, this dude is a beast on the brass. He plays like the trumpet in here a bunch, and it's just like really funky 80s music. Some of my favorite dance music records. Right now, one of my favorite to date is this one right here. Nope, that's not it. That's the older version. It's this one. So this is this label out of France, and they put out like a lot of analog-based dance music, which I appreciate a little bit more, just because of like the grittiness of like the drum, like the claps and the kick drum. But so this is one of my favorite records, and probably my favorite track to play right now is this Cafe Cream. I don't know how you pronounce this dude's name, but it's like G2s or G2S. Yeah, I guess it's more, rather than having like a staple track, it's more like staple labels recently. So this label right here is like Rock City Disco is one that's like been hitting me, and it's actually originated from Detroit. The dude that owns it is like always around like Chicago, Detroit, and he just actually moved up to Europe. But it's like that, and then a ton of labels out of France that are just like putting out this like analog-based dance music, and that's kind of all the shit I've been trying to play the most. Yeah, I don't really know. I mean, it
Okay.
depends on the show. Because some shows I'll be playing like a little bit more chill stuff. So I'll bring out like the deep house that I have and like a little more laid back, like funk. And then some of them I'm taking like some higher BPM hip hop and a lot of like house music and a little bit of like my tech house records and things like that. So yeah, it really depends because I do play a lot of different types of shows. Like the bars here, it's gonna be like trap and hip hop and a little bit of house and like funk. And then when I'm in Detroit, I'm always just trying to play like house and funk, disco, a little bit of tech house, deep house. So it really just depends on the gig because I book a lot of different stuff, so I'm actually able to express myself in a lot of different ways. And so like everything's kind of organized by different types of genre. The best place I'd recommend in Ann Arbor. Every Thursday I DJ at this place called Bab's Underground Lounge, and it's smack downtown. It's on Ashley. Yeah, but it's this cool underground cocktail lounge. It's kind of dark in there.
You get a lot of like drunk people. Okay, can you play?
I used to get a little bit more. It's kind of toned down a little bit, and it's kind of shaping up more like the first 2 hours. It's a lot of like grad students and like people 21 to 24. Ish, so that's when like a lot of the trap and hip hop are on, and then as it gets later, it's become like the spot for all the industry people to come in, and a lot of those people are the people that go out to Detroit on the weekend. So I'm always playing like house and funk and mainly more of my records the second half of the night, which is super cool. What helped me, so I would say find a DJ that you like, or find a DJ mix and just listen to it and understand the style of how they do it. I think that's what got me to focus so much on like the idea of mixing clean was the guys that I was listening to, Heavy Feet. All their stuff was just such smooth transitions and the energy just stayed the same. And I always wanted to be able to do that, like regardless of what music it was. So whatever DJ you like most, I would say just like kind of hone in and listen to their style, and then you can like try and recreate some of the mixes or just find music and try and do that same thing that they're doing. And just, I guess start with something small and digital, and then you can work your way up to like records or things like that. But definitely mix until you're confident enough that you can do it, because like once you're out in a public scene, like it's a little bit scary. Putting yourself out there, I would definitely practice. I had like 2.5 years of practice, I want to say, between computer with like a laptop before I ever went out, but it wasn't too hard. So I would say don't be afraid to just try things, even if you only have like a little $300 controller like I did. It's pretty much like that with anything in the world, like whether it's being a skateboarder, a musician, you're always going to suck in the beginning, and it's good to surround yourself with people better than you. So I would just say you'll just get a phone call one day, or you'll just meet someone and they'll bring you out. And that's kind of what happened to me. I just kept doing it until I met people, and then they started bringing me around other people, and then now I have a career.